So I take my cross grip, I scoot in, elevate, we come up into our X guard. Now what I might do, let's just scoot around this way a bit. So normal X guard, the leg that's behind my partner feeds through to hook to the hip. My other foot hooks behind their knee. In this technique, we're actually going to switch our feet over, but first we need their hands to the floor. So first I'm going to start to get that off balance to get their hands to the mat. Now I'm just going to switch my feet over. So the foot that's up hooking on the hip, I'm going to hook on the front of his knee instead, right, or just above his knee. My other foot comes through and I hook behind his bum. Now that I'm here, I can still kind of extend them away, and a common reaction is they want to drive back into you. Okay, let's just take you back. Right. As I feel him coming back in, I'm going to start to lift him up with my legs. I'm now going to let go with this hand. If I let go with this hand, I often like to switch. I'm going to reach and I'm going to grab behind my partner's knee on this side. All I'm doing now is I'm pulling this towards me. I kick my leg straight and then wedge my knee behind. Now I like to just cross my feet and I curl my heels to make them heavy. Okay? That's enough balance. I can use this just to sweep. If I want to sweep, let's just come back a little bit. If I want to sweep, right, this is what JT Torres tried to do to Nikki Ryan, their match the other week, is as they sit forwards, you can now come up and start to take a passing position. Okay, so there's the sweep option, right, for some of you. Okay, we'll go again and then I'll go over the actual finish options. So, go on in this. So I'm here, elevate up. We come through into X guard. I off balance to get weight into his hands. I switch my legs over, right? Especially if I feel him kind of coming in, I use my legs to lift him up, hold the knee, grab his far leg. I'm kicking straight through and bring my knee back to sit him down, okay? Now that I'm here, often we'll end up in a position, right, it's a cross ashi, but we've actually got access to this far leg, right? So we'll often call this double trouble, right? Because I've got access to both of his legs and threats on both, okay? We're just gonna go over a basic way to isolate the heel on this bottom leg. We're not gonna worry too much about this leg, but we are gonna learn how to control it. So what I am gonna start to do is I'm gonna reach this arm all the way over the top, because I wanna take this hand underneath, so it's now shelved up onto my shoulder. Okay, if I just tried to go from here to here, that's when I lose them. They're going to hide their heel, start to split their stance, and then I can start to lose them. I always want to maintain control over it. If I go here, now I've always got something gripping it. There. This hand, I can now look to feed through. I grab my partner's Achilles. This is now going to make it harder for him to hide his heel. When he goes to hide his heel now, a little bit harder for him to do so. I'm now just going to take my elbow back, and I'm trying to pinch his toe and the ball of his foot under my armpit. So I'm going here. My goal is to line my forearm up with his foot, and I want to create this right angle. I don't want his toes here. Right, this is not good for me. So when I am in this position, I'm coming back. Now my heel, right, or his heel rather, is going to hook underneath my wrist, and I'm going to start to come down to my elbow and trying to make sure I've got a bend in his leg. A straight leg is hard to heel hook. A bent leg is strong. I can now look to lock my hands together, and all I'm going to look to do is I'm going to put my shoulder to the mat and I'm going to raise my hips up. Right? I'll probably get the finish by the time I get there with Skelly because it's already tight. But once I go down and lift my hips, then they drive forwards. It's not this twisting action. Right? People are pretty good these days. They don't tend to just and rip across. Right? But I want to be here, we come down, my hips are up, and now I can drive through. And you'll see it actually doesn't need a lot of movement for me to get that finish there. So once again, cross grip. We go with the classic 2-on-1, Eddie Cummings sort of entry. I balance him to his hands, my legs switch over. As I feel him coming back in, I lift him up. Hold, grab that far leg, I kick through, bring my knee in, to sit him back. From here, I don't immediately take it like an overhook grip on his ankle. I'll just spin around a bit. Okay. Once we are here, hand comes over, under, scoot this to shelve it up on my shoulder. My other hand can now feed through to grab the Achilles. You can even grab the heel if you can reach. Kind of just depends on the length of your partner's legs and your own limbs yourself. But for me, it's easy to grab the Achilles. Now that I'm here, I bring it back, and I'm trying to bring my elbow back to pinch his toes on my ribs, and you'll see that's what bends his foot. All right, so if we come back here, I'm going 1, 2. Now I can look shoulder to the mat, hips are off the mat here. I'm not down on the floor. I'm up, basing in my shoulder, so my feet and shoulder on the floor, my hips are off. Now I just drive my hips straight through and finish. Okay?
So you're not worried about losing that leg once you've established that?
Not really, not really. Like, it doesn't matter as much once I'm in. Right, what I'm worried about is losing him before I have this. You know, if I'm like, yeah, like, oh, I haven't even got this yet, so there's no threat, right? He can just focus all his attempts on his escape. If I, however, come into this position here, now I've got a pretty good lock on him. You know, there are other ways I can potentially come all the way through, lock this up, and then go as well. But just for simplicity's sake, right, we're just going to go straight in, lock, and now we can start to go over an inside heel hold to finish. Pretty much. No, you don't need rotation. If everything's done right, you don't need that rotation. Probably pretty hard. Right. You want to feel it? Okay. Does anyone want to see that again? Any questions? No? Happy? Right. I'm not going to see a bunch of hands go up when I let you go off.
I'd love to see it. Can you show me on that?
Sure. Now what was that? You wanted me to go really fast with my hips?
All the tendons, yeah.
In. I come through, off balance him to his hands, my feet switch, and I'm trying to start to lift him up, hold, grab, pull this through to sit him forwards. Again, I can come up with it, but we're gonna hold with the overhook, wrap, shelve. Now I can come through, grab the Achilles, I come back to catch the foot, my hands lock, and now I'm pulling all the way to my side, hips are bending. As I come through, get my finish. Right.
Feels good, eh?
Yeah. He loves it. He loves it. Okay. Happy guys? Off you go. All right.